So I've started trying to do videos about directly answering your questions, just trying to add more value to you. So one of the questions was this. In one of your earliest videos, you stated quite firmly that Ukrainians and Russians were on friendly terms before the war, and you had the poll reports to back that up. Now, about a year later, you have done a tremendous amount of research on both countries. Do you still stand by this argument, or has your view of Russian propaganda changed your stance on this? Okay, I still stand by it. The polling that I showed you was from, the Russian side of polling that I've shown you was from Levada. And the Ukrainian side was from the Kyiv Institute. And both are reasonably legitimate in the sense that that's probably about as good as you're going to do. The Kyiv Institute's not a problem at all. The Levada is independent, but you still have to take things with a little bit of a grain of salt in the Russian context. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about the polling. Somebody commented below that, do you mean before the war 2014 or 2022? Well, I was talking, I think, in context about before in 2022. It's definitely before 2014, they were on very friendly terms, and you can see it statistically in the polls. You can also see before 2022, there was still a reasonably high segment in the 20-30%, something like that, if I recall correctly, that was pro-Russian in orientation over on the eastern side of Ukraine, not necessarily in occupied Donbass. We couldn't really get the data from there, but you could see that in the sense of like just the general eastern side of the country had a more pro-Ukraine drift than the western side of the country. Okay, with that being said, the way that the Russians see this is anybody who's not part of the Ruski Mir is bad. And so you start to see more and more inflammatory kind of things from Russia. Couple those things together. Once we cross 2022, Ukraine, from Russia's perspective, is all bad. And Russia, from Ukraine's perspective, has dropped down to single digit support for Russia. That's just like there is generational hatred now between Russia and Ukraine. If Russia was trying to bring Ukraine into their orbit, into the Ruski Mir, and do it by force, it has backfired in a terrible, massive way, because now Ukrainians want more than ever to be integrated into Europe, to be part of NATO, to be away from the Russian oppressors that have killed them and their loved ones and destroyed things all around them. So yes, I still stand by it. Before the war, you would see more friendly perspective toward Russia. After the war, either way you cut it, whether you cut it 2014, there was a drop, and then after 2022, there was a terrible, precipitous drop, particularly in the eastern side of the country where it was registering higher. So that's the long and short of Russian-Ukrainian relations. I hope that helps and answers your question. Please put into, on the community tab for now, I'm going to ask these periodically, please put into the community tab what else I can answer for you, because I want to help you understand what I can about the war in Ukraine. Thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.